Today we're going to figure out how to do the score for Math Fantasy Football for a wide receiver. The wide receiver we're going to use today is Antonio Brown from Pittsburgh. So to start off, you have to hover over 7th grade from my website, click Math Fantasy Football link, and then go down and hit the football link. It's going to open up all the stats. Now, it's important to remember that it opens it up a week ahead. So if you need the score, pay attention to the week that's listed up here. This says week 2. We want week 1. So we have to select week 1. Once we have week 1 selected, then we're going to look for our team. So we're looking for Pittsburgh. He's not mentioned in what I see right now. So I'm going to scroll down until I see Pittsburgh. There's Pittsburgh. To get the scores, you need to click box. Now, at the top, you're just going to see some other stats that you're not going to use. So you're going to scroll down, and you're going to look at Pittsburgh side, which is on the left. So we're going to look at Antonio Brown. He is a wide receiver. So his main position that you're going to see yards is in receiving. He's not going to be in passing because that's a quarterback's position. He may be in rushing, but in this case, we don't see his name, so he didn't have any rushing. But he is in receiving. He had a very big game. He had 126 yards and 2 touchdowns. So 126 yards and 2 touchdowns. So now I'm going to go back, and I'm going to use my scoring sheet, and I'm going to write Antonio Brown, Pittsburgh. Now, like I said, he had 2 touchdowns and he had 126 yards, and those were receiving yards. He had no rushing yards because we looked at that. And now we got to see if he has any fumbles. So we're going to go back and we're going to scroll down and we're going to look. Do we see his name in the fumble section? No, we don't. So he didn't have any fumbles. So that means we're going to then put 0 for fumbles. He will not have any interceptions because he is not the quarterback. Now, the formula I need to use is up at the top of your scoring sheet. It's the offensive formula. That's what I'm going to need to use. So if I look, I'm going to follow along. It says 6 times T. T stands for touchdowns. So I have 6 times 2. Now I go back up. It says plus 3 times the quantity of P plus R plus C. Well, P is passing yards. He's not a quarterback. He's not going to have that. R and C, he's going to. Those are rushing and receiving. In this case, he didn't have any rushing. So we're only going to deal with receiving right now. So we're going to say plus 3 times. Now, the rule states if you're doing receiving yards, you have to divide that by 10. So he had 126 receiving yards. Let's divide by 10, and we get 12.6 or 12 and 6/10, which is the same thing. We're supposed to round to the nearest whole number as 13. Now, I can close my parentheses because he's done. That's it. Then, according to the formula, it says to subtract any of the fumbles or interceptions. Well, he didn't have any. So I could write this down, but what is 1 times 0? It's 0. So it's not going to affect my answer, so I can erase it. Now, we need to follow order of operations. So this is going to give you 12 plus. This is going to give you 39. Now I can add them together. So when I do that, I'm going to get 53. Oh, sorry, 51. 39 plus 12. 51. Put that in the spot, and you've got the score for the wide receiver position.